lesser immigrants?
No, you're right. That's exactly what y'all think. That's exactly what y'all think.
He's a lesser immigrant?
No. What I'm saying is...
He's tainted because you're from South Africa and he's really brilliant?
You know what is so funny about that? Y'all are also the party of the birtherism movement.
Wow, he's a tainted immigrant.
No. That's what you all... People who should be locked up and go to jail is the same party that's rooting for and seeking a pardon for Derek Chauvin. It is so rich to me to see that folks don't understand when this is not an America First company. It's a South African First company. That's what Tesla is. But this is the same party that talks about America First and make America great again, but they're giving someone unfettered access who is an immigrant. And if you leave it to this party to talk about, there's no space for immigrants.
Okay.
No. Some of us are here by force.
Some of us are tainted immigrants.
No. That's what you all would have liked to say about Barack Obama.
Where do I fit? I'm Irish Lebanese. Am I like second class or where am I?
You tell me, ask your party.
Wow. I didn't know.
Hello, everybody. Guys, let's get right into this panel. Republicans are panicking. Let's check this out and we'll talk about it.
Liberals be cheering on the demise of Tesla as Elon Musk continues his chainsaw attack in Washington. Now, keep in mind, the stock has taken a nosedive since the inauguration of Donald Trump, and it's so bad that Musk even recruited Trump to hawk cars outside of the White House. And the problems are getting worse for Tesla. Tesla vehicles are being vandalized, set on fire across the nation. And the Attorney General is now echoing claims by Musk and by Trump that the attacks are being coordinated by the left.
We believe these are organized. These are not individuals out there throughout the country doing this on their own. They're targeting Tesla owners. They're targeting Tesla dealerships. They're targeting Elon Musk, who is out there trying to save our country, and it will not be tolerated. We are coming after you. We will find you. And if you are an organized group who is funding this, we're going to find you too. You better look out and you better stop it.
Now, it should be said, the White House isn't providing any evidence of coordinated attacks, but MAGA is furious over liberal reaction to Tesla's troubles.
Tesla stock is way down, almost disastrously so. People have been vandalizing Tesla vehicles, new Tesla vehicles. Please don't vandalize, don't ever vandalize Tesla vehicles. And so...
So I know it's a dark time, but I was saying on my phone, I don't know, some of you know this on the iPhone, they've got that little stock app. I added Tesla to it to give me a little boost during the day. 225 and go out.
Now, I just want to be clear. No one at this table condones violence, right? Setting cars on fire, breaking windows, whatever, all of that is bad. But the question is, is it okay for an American company to just be hated, for people to want it to not do well?
Let me just be clear. I'm against violence, destruction, anything like that. But, that looks like a peaceful protest to me, everything that I saw, right? Just like January 6th Republicans. This was just a tour around the Tesla facilities. Isn't that what you see, Republicans? A peaceful protest? Just a peaceful tour?
I think, go back to point one. When you set a car on fire, you should go to jail. You're a criminal.
Any car,
I don't think we have to
actually.
talk about it in any other
Tesla.
context. And all those cars have cameras in them, and those dealerships have cameras. You're beyond being stupid when you do that. You're going to go to jail, and you now have a government that just got their mandate. They can't wait to find idiots that do this. You're going to spend 5 to 20 years in prison. If they get them on terrorism, which I think is a stretch, they will have no parole, no shortened sentence. They'll rot in hell in prison for 20 years. And frankly, as far as I'm concerned, that's okay. Breaking in, shooting a car, setting on fire, nothing to do with the politics, nothing to do with Tesla. You are a criminal. And you should go to jail.
What about the broader question about the protest factor? You heard Tim Walz.
What protest? You're a criminal.
I'm talking about Tim Walz and his comments about the Tesla stock. He says it gives him a boost to see that stock going down.
That poor guy didn't check his portfolio and his own pension plan for state. It's beyond stupid what he did. He's talking down a 3.5% weighting in his own pension plan. What's the matter with that guy? He doesn't check the well-being of his own constituents in his state. That's their investment fund.
Point,
what a bozo.
The Minnesota Tesla.
Oh, God forbid he has some type of principle. And that is not just about the money. It's about the piece of crap that's in charge. that's slashing everyday Americans' jobs. Maybe he's not just a greedy fool like you.
State Board of Investment, they have 1.6 million shares in Tesla in their retirement fund, 211,000 shares in a non-retirement fund. It's a relatively small amount, but that's one company, one single stock, and that's because Tesla is a huge part of the tech growth. But this is not the first time that companies have been in the crosshairs of protests. I mean, Republicans have protested companies all the time.
All the time. I mean, the violence is absolutely unspeakable and terrible and should be condoned. But in terms of the broader theme, I've covered so many companies who a particular political party or group of people go after them, and it tends to die down. So in 2014, everyone on the left hated the Coke industries. Coke is one of the largest privately held companies today. They're not impacted. You think about Meta and all those massive boycotts in 2020. Meta is one of the largest advertising companies in the world. They are doing fine. I think even about Budweiser, their reputation has recovered from some of the scandal. So I think it's horrific that there's a lot of this violence, but companies being targeted, especially by one political party, doesn't ruin them forever. Oftentimes it's just one solid period at a time that they have to go through it.
Well, let's play some of the Budweiser sound just to remind people of this was just a couple years ago, actually.
And I think this is different for Tesla and Elon Musk. I think Tesla's screwed. They make, first of all, the cars are pieces of trash. They're complete garbage. Look how much Teslas are, even before all this happened. They're not built well. Their quality checks are horrible. It has tons of issues. I mean, the cars have problems in and in itself. Elon Musk is too much of a narcissistic person. Constantly wants to be in the public eye, tweeting disgusting things. He can't help but put himself in the center of the room at all times, just like Donald Trump. And because of that, Tesla will be in front of people's minds as far as companies not to invest in, cars not to buy. Even people who support Elon Musk and Tesla don't want to buy those cars now. They're calling those cars Nazi cars. I mean, I'm just shocked that Republicans are so surprised by this backlash.
American beer brand Bud Light knocked $4 billion off of its parent company Anheuser-Busch's market cap this past week. And this is great. This is a great thing, and we need to keep it up.
I understand Bud Light is piss water masquerading as beer. So I guess that, you know, it's sort of trans beer.
This boycott is just getting started. It's not losing its legs. It's not petering out. It's not waiting for the storm to pass. This boycott means business. This boycott, this is such wonderful news.
Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch. Have a terrific day.
So sorry for interrupting the video again, but I have to say one thing. All that hate for Budweiser, these psychopaths, was because Budweiser had a trans person in a commercial. This is what they were rebelling against. The people rebelling against Tesla right now are rebelling against it because he's running around with a chainsaw so giddy about cutting everyday working people's lives with no compassion of ripping people's livelihoods away from them. Do you not see the difference here?
You can't make it up, but look, I mean...
There is a difference.
I mean, what is the difference? I mean, I'm not talking about the violence. We've already established that. What's the difference between that and Tim Walz saying, I get a kick out of it?
First of all, Tim Walz is a complete moron to me. I have to be very honest, and I'm not surprised why the American people did not choose him. Nothing against the vice president. With that said, Elon Musk employs 80,000+ Americans. Most of them are working class people. The implications of the stock, let's say this were to continue on for another year, so I'm just throwing out a hypothetical. Will the company at some point have to decrease its workplace? Most of those people, I would imagine, probably vote for Democrats, at least some of them. So now you're impacting people who likely share your worldview because you disagree with Elon Musk. Don't buy the car. Just like those guys are saying, let's protest Anheuser-Busch, et cetera. We're just not going to buy their beer. I'm okay with that. But destroying public property, there is no place for that. I agree with Kevin. Lock them up and set an example that this is not what we're going to tolerate in this country.
I mean, obviously, the violence is completely unacceptable, and these people will go to jail. I mean, you can't burn a dealership and not get caught eventually and go to jail. But it is, again, the broader question here about has it crossed the line when people are sort of rooting for the failure of a company?
Well, first, let me say, until yesterday, I think I was one of the only Democratic elected officials to unambiguously condemn the violence and destruction against Tesla. I don't think you have to be tough on crime to do that. As you know, my grandfather is part of Gandhi's Satyagraha movement, independence movement. He said sabotage is a form of violence. I mean, this is not the best form of protest, and it's not the tradition. The second point is, I'm not going to root against Tesla. There are 20,000 people who work in my district who make a living off this. They're building electric vehicles that ultimately are good for the climate. I have huge, huge problems with what Elon Musk is doing. Have the protest and the conversation and criticism of Musk. Don't take it out on a company where you have workers, where you have engineers, where you have scientists, which are creating wealth for the country, which is helping the climate. And I think Democrats have to be able to offer common sense perspectives, focus on what the problem is with Musk. Don't focus on the wealth of a company.
The other thing.
I just disagree with that. I think it is important to focus on the wealth of the company. The reason for that is because that guy with that company aided in him becoming the richest man in the world, and is why he's able to control Trump like the sock puppet that he is. It's the reason he's able to cut hundreds of thousands of jobs of everyday working Americans. This is the reason he has his powers, because he was able to accumulate this wealth. So we have to hurt them in their pockets so that they don't have this power. And yes, I feel for the people who work for Tesla, the 80,000 people. But how about everyone else that they're going after? How about everyone, all the working class Americans they're going after? The constant demonizing of people. Is there any empathy for them? Is there any compassion for them? People are pissed. People are protesting because he's literally ripping people's livelihoods away. No compassion whatsoever. That's just the tip of the iceberg. And it's because of his overwhelming wealth. So yes, I think it's fine to focus on the company. And by the way, that same guy wants to replace those American workers with Indian foreign workers. That's why he was fighting so hard about the H-1B visa thing. And he said that Americans were too stupid and they couldn't be taught this. And the reason he said this disgusting insult was just because he wants to exploit foreign Indian workers and pay them less than he would have to pay Americans. Like, are you effing kidding me?
I mean, the other side of this coin is a company like Ben & Jerry's. The CEO says that he was fired because, you know, Ben & Jerry's, they put out a political statement about virtually everything. And they've been pretty, strident against a lot of the things happening in the Trump administration. If it is true that he was fired for that reason, what do you say to that?
I think it's remarkably unfair. Shout out to Ben & Jerry's because they've taken some really incredible stances. We're talking about people who should be locked up and go to jail. It's the same party that's rooting for and seeking a pardon for Derek Chauvin. It is so rich to me to see that folks don't understand when folks use their platforms of privilege to ensure that the least of these among us have a voice in the process. I don't condone violence, but I wish people would take a look in the mirror and see what's actually happening. This is not an America First company. It's a South African First company. That's what Tesla is. But this is the same party that talks about America First and make America great again, but they're giving someone unfettered access who is an immigrant. And if you leave it to this party to talk about, there's no space for immigrants.
Okay.
No. Some of us are here by force.
Some of us are lesser immigrants?
No, you're right. That's exactly what y'all think. That's exactly what y'all think.
He's a lesser immigrant?
No. What I'm saying is...
He's tainted because you're from South Africa and he's really brilliant?
You know what is so funny about that? Y'all are also the party of the birtherism movement.
Wow, he's a tainted immigrant.
No. That's what you all would have liked to say about Barack Obama.
Where do I fit? I'm Irish Lebanese. Am I like second class or where am I?
You tell me, ask your party.
Wow.
I mean,
I didn't know.
He's completely not he's such a fool that he's not seeing the point that she's making. Is that when immigrants are people of color, there's some type of danger. There's such an issue. There's such a threat. But when a South African richest man billionaire is ripping people's jobs away from them, clearly trying to incite a riot and violence by agreeing that Derek Chauvin should be looked into pardoning. What is that for? Well, why did Elon Musk do that? Because he cares about the American people? He just cares about us? He just cares about fixing America? This idiot doesn't realize that your party are full of racists. Yeah, I don't believe in absolutes. I don't think all Republicans are racist. But if you're a racist, you're in politics, you're a Republican. That's the point that she's making. You're okay with this white immigrant, but such a threat once their color of skin changes, huh?
There's not, Angela's entitled to her views. There's not a single person in terms of leadership in the Republican Party who wants to get Derek Chauvin out of prison. That was a ludicrous idea.
Elon.
That came out from some people who are on social media who are podcast hosts. Number two, Elon Musk's company is an American company. Now, you don't like his views, I respect that. You're entitled to that.
It's not just about me not liking his
But it
views.
is an American company, Angela, that employs a lot of American people.
That's true.
Black, white,
What-
Latinos,
I'm not
Republican,
you guys
Democrat.
are misunderstanding my point. The point is the hypocrisy inside the GOP.
Yes.
I'm not rooting for the demise of the company. I'm asking for there to be fairness across the aisle about how we see immigration, that we don't prefer South African refugees, as they're now being called, when their land was stolen, as some of your party are saying right now. Derek Chauvin is not just a random podcast idea. This is also the party that wanted to get rid of the Department of Justice police database for transparency and accountability when crimes were committed against American people.
And on the Derek Chauvin point, I mean, the question was asked by a conservative reporter.
And the president, the White House said no. I mean, why are we even debating this? I mean, the White
We're
House said
debating
no.
it because this is what the party is about.
So
now.
That's not what the party is about.
Shermichael.
Well, what is the Democratic Party about? Can you answer that question?
Sure, happy to.
Because most people in your party aren't even happy with the direction of your
I'm
party.
happy to talk about that too. Are you hosting?
I'd love to know. Please
are you
educate me and the
hosting or
rest
is
of the
Abby
American people
we
who are
have
watching
much
this
more
show.
ahead on that, but Sarah, go ahead.
Just going back to the Ben and Jerry's.
Hey, him having to face with racism in his party really struck a nerve there. For him to say, oh, no one in leadership. Elon Musk is the one that agreed to it. Ben Shapiro, one of the biggest names on right-wing media, that right-wing sick psychopath ecosystem, is the one that brought this up. And he knows that he got cornered there. That's why he tries to change the subject. Well, what are Democrats about? It's so incredible. Little Shermichael got triggered there.
I think one of the challenges is if you're a brand and you align with a political point of view, which, by the way, isn't always bad for business. Patagonia, high trust scores when we measure them. Hobby Lobby, high trust scores when we measure them. But if you're going to sell to a large conglomerate, as Ben & Jerry's did in 2000 when they sold to Unilever, you then have to understand that you're putting yourself in a position where your corporate overlords can do what they need to do for business. Right now, we're in an environment where having a company in your portfolio with a political perspective can be a risk. We see this in M&A all the time. I sat in the AT&T Time Warner trial when the DOJ sued AT&T over a merger that did not seem to need to be sued, according to lawyers, but most likely was because of CNN.
Yeah.
So,
but it's not just, I mean, the truth is it's not just any political perspective. It's any anti-Trump political perspective. Because on the other side of things, here is what the Commerce Secretary, the actual Commerce Secretary, is saying on TV just tonight about a publicly traded stock. Listen.
I think if you want to learn something on this show tonight, buy Tesla. It's unbelievable that this guy's stock is this cheap. It'll never be this cheap again. When people understand the things he's building, the robots he's building, the technology he's building, people are going to be dreaming of today and Jesse Waters and thinking, gosh, I should have bought Elon Musk's stock.
I mean, isn't it a conservative principle that the government shouldn't be picking winners and losers?
Why don't we ask ourselves about the market? It's down 8 to 20% depending on the sector you look at. Tech is down. Tesla's down. We're having a market correction. It happens every 18 to 20 months. And EVs are under pressure because of lots of competition, including from China.
Yeah.
And so there's a reason. It's not just the fact that it's a political issue around Doge.
Well, then
that
why
the
is
stock
Lutnick
down.
saying? Why is he saying that if it's not about politics? He seems to think that it is because he's saying, "Oh, I'm going to use my platform as the Commerce Secretary to tell people how to buy and sell stocks."
Well, Howard's actually a private sector guy. He's well known.
I get that. He's got a government job now.
You know,
right?
and there's merit to maybe having
With
somebody
ethics.
that worked on Wall Street for that long in that position. But at the end of the day, when people say, oh, Tesla's down because it's a political problem, I think it's a market issue. And if it has great performance and they deliver cars and they make money, the stock will go back up like every tech stock. What about Boeing? That's even a bigger piece of crap.
Let me ask you, Kevin, because you're a business guy.
That's even. He let it slip there. He knows Tesla is a big piece of crap. He knows that company shouldn't be worth what that is, what it is. And I have a whole spiel about this little discussion here in a couple minutes.
Talk to all these business folks. Be honest. I mean, you look at Trump's policies, consumer confidence down from the lowest point in 2 years. One day tariffs, the other day not tariffs. One day someone's cutting something. I mean, aren't you hearing honestly that there's uncertainty in the business world? They don't know what the policy is going to be, and that this has
I'm a very transparent guy.
That this has caused a lot of problems.
Why don't you wait till April 2nd to see all the tariff schedules in every country on earth? And at the end of the day, even the British Prime Minister called over the weekend saying, before we get to April 2nd, let me level out a little bit. Let's make a deal before you expose my tariffs on agriculture.
Yeah, but the market's moving faster,
thought.
I'll just say. Like, I cover advertising. Advertising's already cutting budgets.
Yeah,
they're not waiting.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay, everybody hold that thought because we are about to talk.
All right, the panel is done there, and clearly this stuff is working. You see Republicans freaking out about Tesla stock, Trump making an infomercial in the White House lawn. You see Fox constantly interviewing Elon Musk going on interview. There's reports that Elon Musk is crying. Like this is worldwide that people are pissed at Elon, because if our economy crashes, this affects the world, and it's not only that; it's what he's pushing. Right, guys, this is a horrible, vile person who does a Nazi salute not just once, twice. When called out on it, did he have the empathy that he wants us to have? The empathy to apologize? No, he made jokes about it after. But we should have empathy and love for the racist billionaire who just wants to fix our lives by firing everyone he could and making fun of them running around with a chainsaw like an imbecile. Right, guys, those of us on the left are generally empathetic, kind, accepting people. But this dude, all he's doing is hurting everyday people's lives with no compassion whatsoever. Calling people DEI hires. And this Tesla company, how little Shirt Michael there tried to defend this company. You know, they hire black people, brown people. Those black people, they have it was reported that Tesla has these segregated sections where black and brown people worked in certain areas, and they would internally call that area the plantation. And Elon Musk, when this was brought to him, did nothing about it, denied it, and said you should quit if you're having issues or something like that. Because clearly he absolutely supports. He's a racist. Guys, Elon Musk is calling Social Security now a Ponzi scheme. They're cutting Medicaid. They cut the Department of Education. No empathy for anyone there. They recently made it now so that you can't make any changes on your phone for your Social Security benefits. You have to do it online. Knowing that there's just a good amount of older people that are just not comfortable with tech. And they rather go in the office or rather call on the phone. And those offices, they're getting rid of those buildings too. This is why people are pissed at Elon and Tesla. But come on, have some empathy for the richest racists in the world. How these morons try to act like they don't understand. So confused as to why he's being attacked. Why the company's being attacked. And again, besides, those cars are pieces of crap. That company was built on lies. They're built horribly, constant issue with them, they're junk. But I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Please subscribe if you're not. I really appreciate that. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.